How did you get started with music, and how did you develop your sound?
A long time ago, and I started with like like thrash metal, like Metallica and stuff, and then I worked my way up to like Morbid Angel and Deicide, and then Decapitated, and so on and so forth, Meshuggah, Pantera, stuff like that. And right now we're trying to make like heavy, like groovy, that's like the main part of our sound is groove, and just, try to mix deathcore in it. Yeah, that's where we're at.
I started off, I always had a drum set since I was a little kid. I didn't start my first band until I was in 11th grade, and since then I've just like kept up with it, and I knew Bloom since 9th grade, and one day he just asked me to join, and we just kept going from there.
I started when I was 12, and I knew I could just start my way, building my way up, building my legacy, and show what I'm capable of, and that's where I'm at right now, trying to, get our sound out there and make sure that it's reaching out to what I had imagined when I was a little kid.
And who thought of the name The Final Burial? And is there any meaning behind it?
This was actually a song, but one of the former members suggested that we cut off some part of the song and just keep it The Final Burial, and that's how it basically stayed as it was, and I continued to keep writing and found this new lineup, and we stay with the name so we can continue the name's legacy.
And what do you want people to take away from your music?
I don't know. We want people to just feel what we feel. To us, I mean, we're not trying to say like we're the best or whatever. Like we feel like our sound. It sounds catchy to us. That's what I mean. Like I'm very picky myself, and I'm like hardcore, man. I'm like I'll write a riff and then I'll change it like 20 times before I'm done and settle with it. Like we want people to just hear what we're trying to portray through our music, and hopefully it's groovy for you guys just as much as it is for us.
For one thing, the groove especially, we try to keep a constant groove on most of our songs that people can jam out to. Precision as well, that's what we also try to focus on, and overall like heaviness as well.
How would you describe your sound to the average listener?
You ever heard of Blender?
Like we try to peak each of our influence and blend it in together as much as possible without messing up the genre. It's just at the very edge of the genre where it doesn't surpass that.
Yeah, in other words, like it's not your typical shit that you fucking hear that anyone could just do. Like we try to make it a little bit more enjoyable and for us and everyone.
Who are the three bands you like to tour with?
I would say Decapitated. They're like one of my all-time favorites, and they've changed so much. Like every CD is very different. Like I couldn't imagine like hearing one song from each CD. It'd be a badass concert.
I would like to go on tour with Emure, only because I can always jam out to their songs a lot, and they seem like so much fun live, so it'd be nice to tour with them.
I like to tour with Born Osiris. They're like probably the same thing, like party heads and then jam every night, different cities, so that's one band I like to tour with.
What are your 3 Desert Island albums that you'd never get tired of listening to?
Mine would always have to be Glass Clouds' Perfect War Forever. I've been jamming out to that album for months now, and I still jam to it. It's one album I would never get tired of, for sure.
I would probably be Abacab Survivalist, just because the foundation of my vocals is based on that style of vocals, and that whole album I never get tired of, just because it's one of the main reasons. But the whole structure of the album and every song in between, it's the way it's supposed to be. So
I would say probably like Black Tongue, maybe the Born Hanged,
What's your take on the current state of deathcore?
To me, what I've noticed is that there's a lot of it's definitely evolved throughout the time since it started. There's much more diversity in that genre. From what I've noticed is that it's definitely progressed since it started. There's a lot more variety, and bands have been experimenting with the genre a lot since then. So,
what's the current music scene like in Texas, both locally and statewide?
I think if the further south you get to Texas, the music scene starts to die. It's the basic truth. For a couple of years back, the scene was real strong. Well, at least down here, and we're like borderline, to Mexico. So, we're like the lowest cities you can find here in Texas. So, the lowest you get, I think the scene starts to die. I don't know about Mexico, but here, and then the further up you get, the scene starts to get stronger, and there's more supporters in each show, and all that.
Down here, you really have to excel at what you're trying to do. You really gotta try your hardest to impress people down here, because it's really a tough crowd.
Yeah, you gotta be that needle in the haystack. You gotta surpass that standard limit, or you're gonna be that standard band that that's what we base ourselves and our foundation, and hitting it hard, and we got that spot that we're looking for.
What's your take on illegal and legal music downloading?
I think it makes it much more accessible to everybody, because before you would have to go to the store and buy a CD. I've actually bought some albums through my phone or through my computer, laptop, and it's really fast. It's really super quick. As for illegal downloading, it's unfortunate for the bands and the label, because they lose out on lots of sales.
I think legal downloading, or just downloading period, takes away from the whole CD thing. That shit's pretty much dead already because of technology. And
Yeah.
CDs are cool. I remember when I was younger, I used to like CDs, and I used to like to read the lyrics and look at the pictures and shit, and get the CD case, and I don't want to break it or anything. If the case was cracked, it was ruined.
Yeah.
There's actually a war going on. It's very biased, and both have their each their own opinions, but about people that download illegally, and to the band itself. Some bands and some people are not calling it stealing just because it's data, but I mean, they work countless hours just trying to get that data on the media for you guys. So I think it's not fair for the past bands that didn't make it, to all those bands that you thought that what happened to them is because the label dropped them because they didn't have enough sales. So I think it's very unfortunate for them. So I'm against it, but if that's where the media is going, well, we can't fight the future, but
What's next for the Final Burial?
More out of town shows,
More songs.
EP release show.
what's not next?
More songs.
It's all coming soon.
Yeah, we're in the process of tracking our current album. Once that's finished, we're gonna start with the music video. The video storyline structures finished, and
More songs.
new songs. So expect all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff coming out for us, so we're gonna stay busy, and I'm just gonna keep you guys entertained in the media. And
Do you guys have any shout-outs?
Shout out to George Glass. Check him out on
Glass.
Facebook. Great photographer.
Yeah, he's good.
He's done some of our photos at Señor Rey and other bands around here in McAllen too.
yeah,
Incredible.
He's also I'm gonna be shooting our music video, so we're glad to be working with him with that as well. Oh, Andrew.
Oh,
Andrew from Slam Master Booking.
Slam Master Booking.
Shout out to you. To all the promoters that booked us, Freddie. Make sure it's going to be helping us on mix and mastering our album.
Isaac Vaughn. Yeah, dude.
Thank you, man. Cena and Ray, Ed Vomit.
From the devs. We might, be missing out a lot of you guys, but,
Yeah, if we missed you, sorry.
We missed you, sorry.
We think about you. You're important. We need you.
I think it's about it.
That's a wrap.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm Bloom vocals.
Lino Majaro drums.
Brian, guitars. It's time to go, guys.
Yeah.